Well, it's not the best lighting, is it? Let's see if that's better. I can see these calls need makeup. We have 0 viewers, but we're 4 minutes early. Capture, cameraman. What is going on? Oh, come on. This is not the time for you to be failing. One viewer, who's here? Can you hear me? 2 viewers. Hello, who's there? Can you hear me? Hello? Can everybody hear me? See, we have a couple of viewers. So far, it's very quiet. I don't get my... So, I'm now down to one viewer from our 3 viewers. As far as I can tell, I'm not doing a good job with the control room. I can't bring you in. Nobody is responding to chat. And this is kind of frustrating. Probably for everyone else too. Don't think that will help. Does not help. Who are my 2 viewers? How can I bring you in? Okay, can anybody hear me? We have a kind of situation here where we've shown up and we don't know what to do. Hello? Should be a group chat. I'm happy to welcome folks, but I do want to get some sense that you can hear me, you can see me. Anybody out there wishing that I knew sign language, I could signal you. Because otherwise, this is not going to be a very exciting meeting. Let me text Billy and see what's going on. Because this is not working the way I thought it would. Of course, my email has chosen now to die. Maybe somebody else is there. because this is not very exciting. Okay. Oh, so Billy is asking me, he says he can see me, he can hear me. He wants to know if I invited people into the call before going on air. I did invite people to the call. The one person who responded to me said that she did not receive that invite. So, did anybody else? Because if it's just me talking, this is not going to work. Obviously. So, we have 6 viewers. Can anybody who's there just type their names into the chat screen? Because that would be helpful. And I will, because I'd like to at least get some sense of who's online without having to text you all individually. That's not working. All right, so if somebody got the link and they can't figure out how to participate. So I think what you should be able to do, at least they should be able to see a group chat. You should be able to at least respond into the chat. The tools here suggest that if you're invited officially, it should let you participate. I shouldn't have to, I mean, I can hit the control room and I shouldn't have to, it doesn't actually seem to do much for me. Okay, so Anna says she's typing into a screen, but it seems separate from the chat, and I'm not seeing you typing into any screen. Hazel doesn't know how to join. You can see me, all right? So Billy, they're seeing us. All right. No. Okay, looks like I have to send you all a different link. This could be interesting, but I will try. Actually, Billy, can you email that to me? I can email it to myself. Copy text. Copy to clipboard. This is so exciting. Technology in action. So I will get this going and we will get this figured out. Thank you all for bearing with me. And someday we will remember that we laughed about this. All right, so I'm going to invite you with a different link that should work more effectively. Hang on. Let's see what this is looking like. Okay, Billy says he's posted it in the chat. So, can everybody see that it's posted in the chat? Billy joined, Billy left. Billy, I don't see it. Carla Jean Whitney joined the group chat. So Carla Jean Whitney, you have figured this out and your picture is there. So everybody do what Carla Jean Whitney did. Carla, can you speak? I see you, and I hear background noise. And now you're gone. All right. So I will try this again. I'm really sorry about this. It almost worked. Carla, no. What does no mean? No, you can't hear me? Or no, you can't talk? Oh, you see the microphone button? It should be at the top of your screen. It's got a slash through it. If it's red, it means you're on mute. I heard your microphone earlier. I heard noise. So, I mean, I can hear the noise in your newsroom or wherever you are.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Hey, welcome.
I can.
Okay. You're a little quiet. Can you turn up your volume? Hello? Oh, I hear something. I can hear the noise in your newsroom or wherever you are.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah. There's quite a lag here. I see Anna. You're a little quiet. Can you turn up your volume?
Can you hear me?
Hello? Yes.
Oh, there is a lag.
Yeah. Okay, so Anna's here. I'm here. Carla's here. I think it's fine if your camera's not working. Does that mean you can't see the icon on the side? If you move your mouse over to the side, you'll see. Wow. This is very laggy.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Anna.
Oh, there is a lag.
Carla, can you say hello?
Hello.
Okay, that was quick enough. Okay, so Anna's here. I'm here. Carla's here. I think it's fine if your camera's not working. Does that mean you can't see the icon on the side? If you move your mouse over to the side, you'll see. Wow. This is very laggy.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Anna.
Oh, there is a lag.
Carla, can you say hello?
Hello.
Okay, that was quick enough. Okay, so Anna's here. I'm here. Carla's here. Okay, so this is something for us to know about a Hangout. It's going to loop. See the icon on the side? If you move your mouse over to the side, you'll see. So whatever you do, don't say anything you don't mean to say, because you'll get to hear it twice.
Can you hear me?
Or 3 times.
Oh, there is a lag.
Wow. Okay, so we're going to have to figure this out. But we'll try this. This is good. Those of you who are there but not yet online, or not yet visible to us in the chat window, I guess bear with us, and do feel free to comment on the community site about the call and your experience of the call, and this will give us feedback that we can probably resolve after the call. If it gets really distracting, we'll come up with a plan B. We'll use the teleconference line at the SPJ and try to finish this. But we do have some things we want to talk about, and we spent 15 minutes so far
Not yet online.
experiencing Google Hangout.
Not yet visible to us in the chat window. I guess bear with us, and do feel free to comment on the community site.
See if there's
all
a
in your
duplexing feature that I can turn off.
Give us feedback.
Oh, it got very quiet. Whatever I did just worked. I didn't do a thing, but I'm glad it worked. So we have a few things on the agenda that we want to talk about as a committee. Anna Pratt has left. Can any of these other 7 viewers who are here post in the chat? Because it'd be useful to know who all's here and to get a sense of who can participate and who cannot. I have gotten a couple emails from people who are interesting. Okay, so some people got the invites. There's not a group chat visible. The comments are coming on top of each other. I'm just reading my email. And I am going to send to those of you who are on me email and enduring this, I'm going to try to send you a link, although I have to warn you that my email is not working properly. So we have a Widgeo site that I can send from, and I will go do.
So some people got the invites. There's not a group chat visible. The comments are coming on top of each other. I'm just reading my email. And I am going to send to those of you who are on me email and enduring this. I'm going to try to send you a link, although I have to warn you that my email is not working properly.
Anna's also back. Maybe Billy will weigh in on email or someplace else about what we can do. I have not that I've participated in the past.
And I am going to send to those of you who are on me email and enduring this. I'm going to try to send you a link.
So I'm going to look and see if there's something in my. Hi, Carla. You know. Not sure how I did that. I could showcase you. Maybe that's how I did it. Capture, camera. I don't need more apps. Screen share, I don't need that. Well, there doesn't seem to be a settings. Oh, here's the settings button. Let's see if I've set something strangely. Default microphone, default speakers, report usage data. It does not seem to be telling me anything I can use that will fix this. Okay, well, let me just send the Widgeo note so that people can try to click on who've not been able to get in, and this should work. So I will try this, and maybe that will help us make this happen. And try to do this work without trying to do this in a way that's more open. And that's part of the process of being a community. These meetings should be open, and the main thing we want to talk about today are the elections for leadership. So I'm the current chair of the community. We have Anna Pratt, who's the vice chair, and we have several of the board members who I think are at least listening in on this call. I know Hazel Becker and Ruth Taylor Cotter have both been emailing me and trying to sort of, obviously are frustrated by what's not working. But I'm hopeful that with the link I just sent out, that this will work for them, and that they'll also be able to be here. And I'm not sure if the other two board members have been able to come, but what we're trying to do here is make ourselves a more transparent organization. Let's see. Billy says, by the way, that what's happening is you should plug your headphones directly into your laptops or whatever device you're using to watch this, because the laptop speakers are playing the audio out, which is going back into the broadcast and creates that noise loop. So I'm not getting that noise loop anymore, so I'm guessing that maybe some people have figured this out. But if we do get the loop, that's our solution. Thank you very much, Billy. Carla, can you say something again? Can you just say hello?
Hello.
Hi. And Anna, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there. Me?
So you would turn your microphone off. You don't have to do that. The other viewers who are here, can you also try to speak? Okay, that's not working. Well, we will have the best call that we can. Anna is taking notes, by the way. So let me just start by welcoming you to our first ever Hangout. As clumsy and clunky as it is, this will be all a kind of sentimental memory 6 months from now, or 3 months from now. I do want to let you know briefly how many people there are within the freelance community. There are 70 people at this point who have signed up to formally be members of the community. And I got your note, Carla. Thank you. Which is a reasonably large number. On the one hand, it's a good-sized community. It would be a very big email list, for instance. But we think that we should be bigger still. And so one of the things that we would like to talk about at some point in this call is how to drive more interest in the community site. But the main thing we have to do, well, and we want to do that in part because we would like to have online elections, probably in January, for the new leadership for SPJ. When we set this community up, part of one of our provisions in setting it up was that we would have a kind of rotating terms of office for leadership. And I am in what would be the second, I'm actually past the second year of my term as chairman of what was the freelance committee, is now the freelance community. So it's time for new leadership, for a new chair. It's time for perhaps some new people to join the board, and we want to set up that process and get that going online so that people can sort of raise their hand and say, I would like to serve in the role of chair or the vice chair, or I would like to run some of the functions that we've talked about having set up within the board, so community managers, communications to the SPJ community membership, communications to the broader SPJ membership and leadership are two roles that could potentially be independent, depending on what people want to do. We would really like to start doing, via Hangouts or via something else, some regular webinars on topics that could range from freelance copy editing to long-form narrative to how to write a pitch, lots of practical things that would be available. Hey, Ruth's here. Awesome. Hi, Ruth. Well, when you're ready to say hi. So these are the kinds of things that I've posted on the website that we have available to us. If and when Hazel Becker gets here, she may have an update on the resource guide, which is some regular. Uh-oh, is that too loud? On topics.
Now it's talking over itself.
That could range. Oh, okay. So what you have to do is you have to put your headphones or your speakers.
I don't have headphones.
To how to write a pitch. Lots of practical things that would be available. Hey, speakers? You're awesome. Hi, Ruth.
Hello.
Do you have speakers?
I have speakers.
So these are the kinds of things that I've
posted on the website.
Are they connected? Can you connect them directly to your computer?
If Hazel Becker gets here, she may have an update on the resource guide, which is some regular. Was that loud?
No, it's just talking on top of itself.
Okay, so what you have to do is you have to put your headphones.
I
or your
don't
speakers
have
on.
headphones.
Lots of practical things that would be available. Hey, here's your awesome. Hi, Ruth.
So apparently there's a facet of this communications device where if your speakers or headphones are not plugged directly into your computer, it's going to create this loop.
She may have an update on the resource guide, which is some regular. Was that loud?
No, it's just talking on top of itself.
Okay, so what you have to do is.
Well, okay, that works as well. So if Hazel Becker can make it into the call, she's going to talk about the freelance resource guide, although Billy's also here, and it may be that Billy can just let us know. I know the two of them were emailing today earlier, so we might be able to do that. You know, I guess the question I have for people who are able to participate either through the group chat or by clicking on their microphone and speaking, you know, what kind of offices do you think we should have in this election? Anybody?
I really don't know because I haven't been involved in one of these types of committees before.
Okay. Anna?
So right now we have chair, vice chair, and then I'm trying to remember what we've had previously that we might want to resurrect.
Well, I think a formal secretary would be useful, and that person may or may not also play a communications role. I think we ought to have a membership person. That ought to be a formal role that is a board level role that somebody says I'm going to run for and fulfill. I also think that we probably should have somebody who is like a social media coordinator. That should be a defined role that somebody can run for. We want to do webinars and resources, and webinars and resources might be two separate things. Or hey, Hazel. Uh-oh, your mute button's on.
Okay, sorry. Unmute. Did that work?
Yes.
Wow. Phew.
I like your office.
Thank you. All right, so what happened now?
What's that?
Oh, it went blank for a minute.
Oh, it'll do that probably as different people speak.
I see. Okay, I'll keep
back
my
and
mouth
forth.
shut.
So you haven't missed much. We had some very interesting technology issues, which we'll learn from. Anna will note in the notes that there are some things we need to warn people about before they come in to use the Hangout. And also, it looks like the preview link is not the same as the final link that people can participate with. So the link I sent out earlier didn't seem to actually work for, well, I don't know. It worked for you, Anna, right? But then you couldn't get into chat. How did you get into chat?
Yeah, you know what? I had to close up everything and redo it, and then it worked.
Okay. And Carla, did you have these issues, or were you able to get on there just by clicking on the community page?
I got there when you sent the link in the, I don't even know what screen it was.
Oh, through Twitter?
No, it's on a Google Plus screen, but it's not the Hangout itself.
Oh, Billy posted it. Maybe. No, you were already in there when you did
Maybe.
that. And Hazel, you got in how?
Don't ask me.
Okay. Well, we're glad to have you. Ruth was having some. So the thing we found, at least for Ruth, was that she kept getting feedback, and so there's an audio thing that we discovered. You've got to be directly connected with whatever your speaker or headphone is to the device you're using, or it creates this very strange feedback loop, which is kind of strange.
I actually have no headphone and no microphone. They are part of my computer.
Yep.
And it seems to be working better this way than when I was trying to use my headset. So I have new computers, and it's making me a little crazy. So I won't blame it all on this new technology, but I'm not a fan of Google.
Okay.
So maybe we can have some better other way in the future, but if not, then I'll just suck it up here.
Well, you sound fine. You sound very clear, and you look very clear as well. So the thing we were talking about was just, we need to do elections, and we need to set up some offices that we want people to run for. And so we were kind of going through the list of positions that we have, and then which really are, chair, vice chair. You are kind of the resource guide head, and so we were talking about whether we wanted to, whether resources and webinars were something that the same should be run by one person, or should they be two separate things? What do you think?
I think that we need a coordinated effort on all the resources that we offer people, because if we offer enough resources, then people are really going to want to make use of the community, and if we don't, then they're not. And I don't see a whole lot of reason to duplicate, although I know different people do better on different conventional wisdom. That way you're offering something to everybody. So, but I'm not sure whether I'm not sure. I mean, my question is it too much work then for one person? And we have a problem anyway, spreading a few of us too thin. So, I guess my question is, how do we make it so that more people volunteer to work as part of the community?
Sure. Well, I think some of that's going to be outreach, and some of that will involve working with Taylor, and probably with Dana and with Robin, to kind of get the word out about what it is we want and where we need people to pitch in. Because I do think for things like webinars or the resource guide, for communications, for membership, it would be ideal to have several people who are working on doing the things that we think need to be done to to continue to build a more vibrant community. Whereas now really we get a single person who volunteers the time that they can, but it doesn't get that sort of amplification that you can have from working with more than one people who are also working to the same goal. So when people pitch in to help Anna, that's great, but Anna is doing the blog and writing up the notes and doing a variety of other things in addition to her day job, and it would be really good if she could sort of share the load, for instance. So it sounds like at least what we want to do, at least initially, is ideally is have sort of webinars and the resource guide be separate things, and maybe at some point they become related things. But if we could get somebody who was willing to spearhead both, and I know Ruth had expressed some interest and willingness to help with webinars, for instance. And so that could be something that we can do, that we will see kind of fits together maybe on a communications platform at some point. But right now, we just, let's look at some other things we think we might want to have. So we talked about chair, vice chair, talked about having a membership person on the board who's spearheading membership, person on the board who's spearheading social media, a sort of secretary to sort of take notes and keep track of things. Might be nice to have. We've talked about a resource guide and maybe other resources separate from webinars, and then so webinars to be almost like events. It's a different kind of thing. So that's potentially 7 roles right there. I'm sure there are things that we would like to see done that are not done, or that aren't being done. Anything come to mind, Hazel, from other things you've been involved with, or things you've noticed that we could do a better job of?
Well, I'm just, my brain's kind of working in the background while I'm listening to you, and I'm sort of thinking that it might be, so much of it is dependent upon SPJ coming up with the resources for us to do these things, and resources that work together and better than what we've had before. And Billy has given us some encouragement that that can happen. I think that having one person then coordinate those kinds of resources together through whatever SPJ comes up with for us to share these resources on, I think that does sound like one person's job, as long as there are enough other people. I'm glad to work with headquarters on how we do webinars and those kinds of things to make sure that we have the technology and the platform and everything works well. If somebody else will then do the content of that. I'm happy to keep doing the content, leading the content effort on the resource guide, but I need other people to help work on that if I'm going to take on a broader role. That didn't really answer your question. The most recent question, it answered the question before, which was, I think, did I see all of that combining together? And I can see how it would. And I think that might be the right way to go. But yeah, again, it's dependent on having people come along and work on it.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should also have some at-large positions, which can become kind of, roles to be named later, or maybe they participate with some of the roles that we have. When we traditionally have had 9 or 10 people on our board, about half of whom probably participate actively. In my experience, having been on the board for about 4.5 years. Does that number seem like an appropriate number, or does that number seem too large or too small?
Well, 10 out of 70, if you look at that would be a lot. But on the other hand, we really want to encourage everyone to participate one way or another. So maybe 10 out of 70 isn't too many. But, I guess the question is, what is the function of the board? If the function of the board is to see to it that things are happening in the community in different areas, then we need a person for each area, and yes, 1 or 2 at-large seats on the board. I think getting that many people to volunteer to be on a slate in the first year is perhaps over-ambitious. So maybe we can find a way to consolidate some of that.
Well,
what do you think of that?
I think we should see. I I think you may be proven right that it will be overambitious, and we just won't get people who volunteer for these roles. But I think we should put them out there and see what happens, and see if we can continue to build momentum. And maybe by the time we have elections, there's 100 people or more who've joined the community. And I will work with, I guess, Billy to start to get that stuff out there. I mean, it's what, first week in November. If we're going to run elections, maybe probably not the first week of January, but you think the second week of January? Does that sound like a reasonable time? We have that's 8 weeks, which is longer than actually many countries use to run their elections. I think we might be able to make that work. But I also don't want this to be rushed. So does that feel like enough time, at least for those of you who are present?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that would work.
Okay. Okay, so I'll talk with Billy and see what we can start to do to put something up on the site that says, here are the positions we want to have filled, and figure out how people are going to nominate themselves or nominate others to do this. There's maybe we can borrow from ONA or some other organization that already is doing this stuff online. I know ONA does this stuff online. And I suppose to some extent we did it online ourselves for the last board election, so it shouldn't be that hard, right?
Right. Well, we've done it a couple of times for board elections, and this year I think it worked better than the previous time, and one can hope that it just keeps getting better depending upon SPJ's focus and all of that. It seems to me that what we need to do is have a deadline for, let's among us agree on, and maybe through an email, on some positions. Let's try to keep it minimal. Let's say maybe 6 to 8 people, or 6 people and 6 named positions and 2 at large, or let's try to name the positions that we think we need, and have functions designed for each of them. President, let's say a vice president and membership chair. Or vice president and some other function, secretary and other communications kinds of things together in one, and then the resources as a 4th position. I mean, then we're up to 4 named positions before we even start trying to add anything. Anything new. That's pretty much what we're doing now. And then add a couple of at-large and set a date and tell people, please put your nominations in by such and such a date, and let's make it early enough that if we don't get nominations for a certain position, then we can recruit people for it. It would be better to have a full slate before we go to elections.
Right. Right. Okay. Well, I think we should wrap up our elections discussion on that note, if there are no objections. So the other item on here was I wanted to hear, at least briefly, what's going on with the resource guide.
Yeah. The sometimes black hole of headquarters when Billy gets too busy is perhaps what's going on. Is Billy with us? Are you there, Billy?
I think he might be. He was earlier. Billy? Well, if he's there, he's lurking.
Yeah. Well, at any rate, I perhaps should have jogged him last week and said we were having this meeting today, and could he please give me an update, and then maybe I would have had it by now. But look, he's got too much to do, and having to hand code the thing in is no easy chore.
No.
And it's really, to me, the whole success of this effort depends upon SPJ giving us a reasonable web communications platform to do it on. And if they're not going to, then I think we're going to continue to trot along as we have been.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you for that. And we will hope for good news from our beleaguered friend, Mr. O'Keefe, soon. Let's see. I think we also had a slot to talk about. No, I guess not. I think the only other thing I wanted us to do was just sort of talk about other business things that we think we should be addressing. It's sort of a generally open area, and then we need to set a date for our next hangout.
Is this the format that you foresaw for instance, the discussion we were going to have about writing query letters?
Yes. So in some sense, this is a dry run for if we start using Hangouts to have practical resource sessions. Is it
Well,
really
the first lesson we take away from this is that we have to give people a chance to try it out ahead of time, and so that people won't go away frustrated because they weren't able to get in.
right?
So perhaps it's a good idea to write down instructions for, I mean, you're the one who set this up, so there first of all needs to be documentation for how you set it up.
Yeah.
And then there needs to be documentation for how people sign up.
Yeah, because I actually set it up wrong. I set it up incorrectly. I set it up in YouTube, and you can't do that. It doesn't work.
I see.
So it had to be done through Hangouts, and so yes, it does need to be documented differently, and so we don't have that issue again, because if I can set it up wrong, other people can set it up wrong as well. And then we have the technical issue around the speakers. I know that was vexing for Ruth and a little weird for all of us until we got it figured out. And I'm not sure what happened with Ruth, so I'll have to call her.
It's interesting to me because she was able to talk. We were able to hear her. It's just she had that feedback loop going on, and I'm pretty sure it was because she had many windows open from trying to get in many different times. Because I was having the same problem earlier when I first tried to get in, and I found that if I just closed all the windows, then all those loopings stopped.
Oh, okay.
So,
right.
But that's what I mean when I say we really need to give people instructions.
Yeah, no, I think it needed to be, well, now that we know, not having used it before myself, some of the issues now are obvious. But I mean, I've used a Hangout. I've participated in one, but we didn't have these issues, so I haven't run one before.
Well, here's a thought. How about if we? I hope you can still see me. Oh, there. Okay. How about if we set a date and say on this date, let's just all get together in there and talk to each other about whatever's on our mind and just say hello and get to know each other. And with the promise that the next time we do one, we will set a topic and either have speakers or have somebody be the ringleader who's going to essentially moderate the discussion.
How often should we run those? Do you think, is weekly too much?
Yeah. What do you think? What does everybody else think?
Be too much for a hangout? For hangouts?
Yeah.
Well, I think weekly might be too much for if we wanted to involve the same people every week. But if it was a way for freelancers in the community to chat, then it might be different. But I think it might be a little ambitious to try to do it every week.
Well, if we want to just do it though, to have like a almost a meetup, right?
Yeah, if it's just
Or-
a social thing, then it might not be too cumbersome.
You know, and then we could, as long as one of us would have to sort of agree to be there. And I think I'm about to crash. Just FYI. Can you still hear me?
Ooh. Yeah, but suddenly your picture's gone.
Yeah, my
Are you
video's
still-
frozen.
Yeah. Oh well.
So I'm hopeful that it doesn't mean anything bad, but I'm a little worried that it's a precursor. So, I mean, I don't know if there's a good time to do one of these hangouts too. I mean, do we want to have like the SPJ Freelance Community, you know, Friday afternoon or Friday lunch or something, where you get together and you just sort of show up and see what's on?
Oops. I think Michael's gone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I think Michael's gone, yeah.
I guess my suggestion would be to just start it, you know, do the first one and say we're just introducing ourselves and getting everybody used to the technology, and then see where things go from there. And it's so dependent upon date for a lot of people, because who knows when your deadlines are going to be. But I do have lunchtime work every day, lunchtime on the East Coast. So maybe it would work to have it be lunchtime on the West Coast. Carla, where are you?
I'm in Alabama.
Alabama. And Anna, are you in the Central Time Zone?
Yeah, I'm in Minnesota.
Yeah. So all of us would be, you know, essentially Central or Eastern, and but I think we need to be able to plan for the people on the West Coast to join us too. And I think that we should just let's have an email. What do you guys think about just having an email with everybody and setting a date and saying and inviting people and saying come?
I think that's great.
Yeah, and we could post it on the community site and, you know, see if we get interest that way.
Right, and another thing we could do is, you know, maybe send and ask headquarters to send an email to everyone who has said they're a freelancer and invite them to join the community and join our call, and tell them that we know there are technology issues and it will be a little strange the first time for people. I think I'll be able to do it next time. But you know, try to get the documentation that Michael was preparing, and move on from there. What does the third week of November look like for you guys?
So,
Like, the latter half of the week isn't bad for me, but the early half is crazy.
Okay, so let's say let's throw out to people the 19th, 20th, and 21st of November at, what do you think, 4 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern? Or 3 in the afternoon Eastern?
I think either of those would be fine.
Okay, Anna? Oh,
Thursday does not work for me. That's the 20th. Oh, Michael's calling me. 1 second. Hey. Oh no. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Well,
Okay.
I guess there must be feedback if Anna tries to
Okay. Okay.
talk at the same time.
Okay. 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 Bye.
Okay, what did he say?
Yeah, here, just putting my headphones back in. So he said to do exactly what we're doing, which is come up with